Curry Maffitt Insurance has been a part of our community for the past 117 years. Come in today at our brand new location in downtown Dublin and experience the difference an independent agent can make. At Curry Maffitt Insurance, we can handle all your insurance needs, including home, auto, and business. Plus, we're local. Since 1902, Curry Maffitt Insurance, now at 115 West Jackson Street in downtown Dublin.
All right, everybody, it's Renee with CSB for you and me. I'm here with Dr. Rowland today, and this is a special treat, so thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity. It's a real honor. I appreciate it.
So what we're going to do today is talk about some history. We're going to talk about how mental health got here, why we changed to calling it behavioral health instead of just mental health. That would be a good topic. But I want to make sure that the community and the viewers are aware of who you are, which they probably already know, and maybe what your role is. And like I said, it's history, so we're going to talk a little bit about how mental health used to be and how it's evolved and how maybe we're more community-minded now. And I say that because that's how I've always recognized it, but it might be a little different from when you started working till present day on how we're community-based. So let's just jump in, and I don't even know where to start. So,
well, why don't we start where I first talked with Patsy Thomas about coming to work here.
Yes.
This is named after Patsy Thomas, this community mental health center now. So I had been working in Atlanta in the Department of Community Assistance up there, the Medicaid program. Been going up there 3 times a week for a couple of years, and I met Patsy at one of the regional board meetings here, and she asked me if I might be interested in coming and talking with her about working here at the Community Mental Health Center. I said I sure would. So I met her here, and
what year was that? Do you remember?
Yes, it was 1999. In fact, it was June of 1999, which means I've been here 20 years now.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Right.
And Patsy was the CEO here during that time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure our viewers are following. During that time in 1999, she called you and said, "Come down here and help us."
Well, she invited me from that meeting to come here, and so I did, and she offered me a position here. I first came here to be a director of a management utilization management system that she wanted to put in place. That was my initial thing that I was supposed to do. But I sort of got into different things and being a consultant with her and working on different projects. And one of the things that I was very much involved in was a transfer of this surplus property that the VA had to the Community Mental Health Center. I counted Dubose Porter down at the library in 2000, sometimes in 2000, and he told me that the VA was going to have a surplus property declared out here, and we ought to look into the possibility of getting some of that property. So I did. I called Charlie Norwood, who I was congressman at that time, and asked him to look into it, and he did. He found out that they was going to declare the surplus property here, and Charlie, he got busy and got this property transferred by statute law.
Wow.
From the VA to the Community Mental Health Center, and also to the Board of Regents here. You know, the Board of Regents got some of this property too, and we got a little less than 60 acres. And so it was kind of hard getting it done because of trying to get through the bureaucracy, the VA in Washington. But I knew Tony Principi, who was the Secretary of the Department of Veterans Affairs, who I came to know when I was in the Congress, and he was the administrator with the Department of Veterans Affairs, now the secretary, and got him to expedite the transfer of this property. So we got it transferred in October of 2001.
Okay.
And that's the way this sort of came about.
So for those who aren't aware, we've talked about the address, we talked about where to go, we talked about our campus, but for those who know where the VA is, we're almost blended right there in the middle of them. We're right behind them some. So it is
Right.
interesting to learn how we found our place in Lawrence County and how we are, I always like to say it's in the same plot. When I tell people, I'm like, oh, you know where the VA is? We're right behind it, or that
Yes.
kind of thing. But
That's right. I think that's exactly the way to describe it. We're on Bellevue Road, right behind the VA, adjacent to the VA. That's exactly where we are, next to where the health department
Right.
used to be. So that's exactly where we are.
let's talk about Lake Leisure. You said something about that, and
Yeah.
I've heard that you had some, we did a ribbon cutting, I think it was last year.
Yes, that's true.
Tell me about that.
Well, there was some fellows in town that had been working on the lake over there. It was called Lake Leisure back then. It'd been there for a long time, and it sort of got into bad shape, and the lake, the dam leaked, and it wasn't doing very well. And these guys were trying to keep it cleaned up so the veterans could use it. And then Leon Green really got involved in this and suggested that maybe this group of men get together and we'd form a limited liability corporation, which we did, and at least 18 acres around that lake over there from the Community Mental Health Center for $1 a year. And we did, he drew up the papers for a limited liability corporation, and we got a 501c3 designation, which means that
That's
the
good.
money that's donated to it could be tax deductible. Let me tell you, that was one of the greatest things I ever saw happen to this community. So many people and so many businesses in town came together and donated the money
Wow.
to build this playground over there and get that lake fixed and get the dam fixed. And then it's a beautiful place, and we've had 2 sunrise Easter services over there since that happened.
And we have our silent walk there with suicide prevention every year.
Exactly, and then as you know, the high school ROTC has a remembrance of the Corregidor
Okay.
Death March over there. too.
I didn't
They
know
do
that.
Yes, there's a lot of different things that go on over there now. So
But anybody can ride by or take their kids out there and play.
sure,
or-
that playground is it is specifically for handicapped kids, but a lot of other kids go and play there too. So, and I've had comments from several people about what a great thing they think it is, and I
Yeah.
think it is too.
Yeah, and it's really, really pretty. Me blending into Lake Leisure and then thinking of the Silent Walk, which you'll learn more about the Silent Walk with our Suicide Prevention Coalition coming up. I think it's in September, so we'll talk about that later. But I saw this sitting behind us, Lifetime Achievement Award for Suicide Prevention Coalition. Tell me
as
about
you-
this.
Well, you know, we've gotten very much involved here in suicide prevention. Formed a coalition, that's what it's called, the Suicide Prevention Coalition. Now I think it's called Voices of Hope.
Voices of Hope.
So we have monthly meetings and talk about the ideas that need to be presented in schools particularly, which is important for
Right.
veterans and for the community in general. And,
Right.
and focus a lot of attention on suicide prevention. It's a subject many people don't want to really talk about, but it's a subject that needs to be talked about because there's so many lives that can be saved if it's known what to do.
And everybody's important. Sometimes you just need to hear that you're important and that you're loved.
Yes, that's exactly right.
With a desire to serve the Dudley community, Bank of Dudley has grown to 5 locations, serving Lawrence, Twiggs, and surrounding counties. Serving our community since 1905, the Bank of Dudley is looking forward to its 2nd century of community banking. Drop in today to any of our 5 locations: Jeffersonville, Dudley, East Dublin, Veterans Boulevard, and downtown Dublin. Bank of Dudley, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
All right, y'all, we're back. Thank you for staying tuned. But I really think this is important. I want to know what the best role, or your most favorite role, or your favorite part of your job is that you had within the past 20 years.
Well, I like what I'm doing now, better than any other part of it, because Denise Forbes, who is the CEO, gives me a long leash to get involved in a lot of things that I really like to do, and I'm kind of a consultant to her as well. And then I have some different kind of projects, like we have the Lawrence County Citizen for Disabled Citizens that I work with. and some other entities that I work with specifically that I really enjoy. So it gives me an opportunity to kind of do things that I like to do.
I heard you say something about Georgia Medical College.
Yes.
I know that's your passion and that's your heart.
It is. Medical College of Georgia. I graduated there in 1952, which means that I went there in 1948, which was just 3 years after the end of World War II.
Wow.
That's been a long time ago. About half of my class were veterans then, and it was just a great opportunity to do what I'd always wanted to do. I always wanted to study medicine and to meet a lot of really good people, and I just really enjoyed the time I was there. There were 5 buildings on that campus when I went there, and now I don't know how many buildings there are.
It's
There's 78
huge.
in my class, and now there are 240 in the class there, and it is up to date in just about everything you can think of. It's just it's a wonderful place. It's a passion for me. I have some scholarships there, and I
You
know
served on the board?
I served on the board
Right.
over there for several years, and I think it's just a top-notch medical center.
Yes, I see that. There's stuff all over the walls. There's awards here. What distinguished service, vessel of life in 2017. That was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that was a
was,
big to-do.
That was given to me by the president, Dr. Brooks Keel, who was the president of Augusta University.
Did they feed you?
They fed it. They did. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
It really was a big deal. It was on alumni weekend, and so it was a big deal. It was a surprise. I didn't know it was going to happen.
And what's
So,
this? You told me about this up here.
now that's appreciation for serving on the board over there for 9 years
Yes.
at the medical college.
And that is a picture of one of the buildings.
That's a picture of one of the buildings. They got a cancer center over there now that is really doing a lot of research. It's really moving ahead. It's got a lot of money from the National Institute of Health. There's just so much going on over there now.
We are very thankful that you live in our community and help support behavioral health.
But listen, I'm very thankful I live in this community. This is the most wonderful place in the world to live. I don't know of anywhere I'd rather live than Dublin, Georgia. It's got a lot of big city advantages. It's small community. You know so many people. People who live here really ought to appreciate what they have. It is really a wonderful place. There's a lot of people that are working real hard to attract more into this area, to make it grow and better. And I mean, it's just a wonderful place to live.
And if you don't think so, you might need to get more active, because I believe that the more active you are within your community, the more you'll fall in love with your community.
Exactly. That's right.
So that could be Suicide Prevention Coalition, that could be our Love in Our Community Coalition, that could be volunteer work. There's people who volunteer around here, or anywhere in the community. We always talk about the homeless. We always talk about those who are hungry. So the more you're active in your community, the more you'll love this place.
That's exactly
and,
right.
And Lawrence County, Dublin is a beautiful place.
Isn't it though? I love it so much.
Tell me how things used to be and then how things are now when it comes to, I'm thinking community-based, but maybe how we used to give services for mental health and how then, and then how we give services now. Is it
Right.
different or is it the same old, same old?
Well, it's very much different. When I first came into practice here, most of the mental health services were provided at Central State Hospital
Right.
in Milledgeville. There was probably 11 or 12,000 people that were
Wow.
there, and they were just sort of warehoused there. And there wasn't much available from a psychiatric standpoint in the local communities. Now this is vastly different.
Right.
While there's still people that need to be hospitalized, they can't be taken care of in the communities. The Community Mental Health Center now is providing a lot of these services on the local level, so you don't have to have as many people housed in the hospital. So that's a drastic change in the way. This Community Mental Health Center here covers 16 counties and 600 employees. We go all the way to the South Carolina line. Have a budget of $28 million. It's a pretty big economic factor in this area as well. It's providing services for mental health, developmental disability, addicted diseases. So there's three different things that's involved, and the things that have been done here, like the Rise Up Center
Rise
for
Up.
people who are recovering, and then we got a facility over on Hillcrest Parkway for providing outpatient services to a lot of clients in different areas. There's just a lot of stuff going on all around.
Even
now.
our CNA services, we're blessed in our community to have such a strong, stable
Let me
CNA
tell you
service.
something about CNA here. This
Child and adolescents. Child and adolescents.
This community mental health center provides more children and adolescent mental health services than any other community mental health center in the state, and that's including those in the metropolitan area.
Did you hear that? Dr. Rowland said it first.
That's right. We got a very large child and adolescent mental health program.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, it is.
I seem to say that word in every episode. We are blessed. We are blessed.
My favorite part about serving our community is all of the wonderful friendships that we build, and Ty Martinez is one of those friends.
I asked for a truck and I couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, when he got the truck, it was exactly what I wanted. And they went, I think this one came from Tennessee, you know, got out of town and brought it to me. Oh, come Dublin Ford, you know, check them out before you check anybody else out.
Others call you customers, we call you friends. That's Dublin Ford Lincoln.
Tell me how you perceive behavioral health now when you see how the CSB of Middle Georgia actually provides services. I know it's different, and I know we're trying to be community based and stuff, and then we have our open access where you just come on in if you need help. Give us a little overview, I guess, of how services are today.
Services are very good today here. There are 3 psychiatrists, full-time psychiatrists on this staff. I think it's 1 or 2 part-time, and there are 3 other physicians as well here, as well as all of the ancillary personnel, other clinicians to provide services. It's vastly different now
Right.
than what it was, and it's accessible to anybody.
Right.
Anybody that needs care can come here.
So, does it cost $50 to come here?
No, it depends on, well, if you've got insurance, of course, your insurance takes care of it, but you can come here if you don't have anything. Of
Right.
course, I mean, it's, that's what it's for. And let me tell you another thing, is we have telemedicine here now.
Yeah, let's talk
as
about
well.
that.
Well, there are not enough psychiatrists on site to provide the services that we need. So psychiatrist is able to communicate with the patient here when the psychiatrist is located somewhere else.
It's due to being in a rural area, right,
It's
that we're
both-
able to provide telemed.
Yeah, right. This is telepsychiatry. And of course, telemedicine is available in other areas as well as psychiatry too. So telepsychiatry is something that we have here as well. And it's just so many innovative things going on. What's happening here in treating behavioral health and developmental disabilities and substance abuse problems is really so drastically different from what it has been.
Yes, and it's exciting.
It is exciting.
It makes my job fun.
I just think that people in the community need to know what's available here. Probably if you ask the average person walking down the street what happens at the Community Mental Health Center of Middle Georgia, I don't suspect more than 1 out of 10 would be able to tell you that. Because unless you have a relative that's been involved, a friend or somebody that's close to you that's having those kind of problems, they wouldn't really know about what's available here. So I think, something like this that we're doing right now gets the information out about what's available. So yeah, there's a whole lot here.
So if you feel like you're struggling or you need somebody to talk to, know that we are here. You will learn in the next episode or 2 what open access is and how to get started. We've talked about with our CNAs, building 4, everybody. But we do have a lot of services that we are able to provide, and we want to make sure that you are educated, and it's important for you to know what's going on in our community and what services that we do provide so we can help you. We're a family, we're a community, and we want to be there for you. Dr. Rowland, I appreciate your time today and coming to see us.
Well, listen, thank you. Listen, folks, it's here, it's available. Just call, we'll give you the information.
All right.